as a patient. I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Well, how's it, guys? Hope you enjoyed the last build. Still got to just get the stuff for the diorama. I'm going to also put some figurines on the ship itself. I haven't got around to painting that yet. Got them packed away somewhere, I just got to find them. Anyway, that's not what we hear about today. I've got a nice big model. Got this model from my friend Trevor. He got it off Amazon from America. I'm not sure how much his kit is, as was my Christmas present. I know I paid quite a bit for it, import fees and all that. So this was an awesome Christmas present. I don't know the company that well. It's the first time I'm building a kit from them. I know Aussie Trekkie, he's got the same type of kit, but he's building the Ark Royal. I saw a video of his which is about 2 years old. I haven't seen any video of that particular kit built, so I don't know if he has built it yet. I know he is building the Bismarck 1/350 scale. Couldn't make up my mind between the Enterprise and the Bismarck. I've also got photo etch for the Bismarck, but that will be a different build. This one comes with photo etch parts included in the kit, which is very nice. So I don't have to go and spend a fortune on buying extra photo etch parts. This comes with some photo etch parts, which I feel will be adequate, so I don't have to go and spend more money. I know the ship had different configurations of decking, but I'm not sure exactly what years the decking was. I know the ship was damaged a couple of times and she went in for repairs, was outfitted and set sail again, and then went back in. Now, my knowledge on the Enterprise was during the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the Japanese made one major mistake. When they attacked Pearl Harbor, the aircraft carriers that were stationed there were not present. They were out doing maneuvers, and none of the aircraft carriers were docked in harbor. So when the Japanese came and damaged and sunk all the ships, the Enterprise and I think it was the Lexington and a couple of aircraft carriers, I'm not sure of their names, were not in harbor at that stage. So none of the aircraft carriers were put out of commission. After the attack, they managed to salvage most of the ships, and of course one particular ship is still lying there underwater as a grave and a monument, but the rest of the ships were raised, repaired and put out into the ocean and fought in the Atlantic and all that. I know that I think it was the Doolittle raids, there was 2 aircraft carriers. I'm not sure what the second one, it could have been the Lexington, I'm not sure, but the Enterprise was her escort. She carried all the fighter planes, and the other ship carried the bombers, which were supposed to bomb Japan and then turn and fly to one of the countries next to Japan, and then of course land there in safe territory. But a lot of the planes didn't make it that far and crashed in Japan, and those pilots were captured and they went to prisoner of war camps. So through the entire of World War II, she, as I said, she was refitted a couple of times after being damaged, taking damage on a flight deck from a kamikaze pilot and stuff. But she had more tonnage sunk by her than any other vessel in the entire American fleet. So she was decorated as a war hero. Unfortunately, they didn't make a monument, a museum or anything out of her. They scrapped her, which was a disappointment. It would have been nice if they actually turned her into a museum, considering she was a war hero. But after the war, when she finally retired, they chopped her up into little pieces as if she had done nothing through World War II. But anyway, I'm rambling on now a bit. This is one of my favorite vessels of all time. She's just so unusual looking and so beautiful, just like the Ark Royal, which I like. And of course, out of steam type ships, my favorite of course is the Royal Mail ship Titanic, the RMS Titanic. Anyway, let's get over to the kit and I can show you the beautiful artwork and we can get onto the unboxing. I haven't so far seen anybody that's built this kit. If somebody knows of a video build of this particular kit, if you can just put a link to that video in the description, I would appreciate it, because I'd like to see what other people have done and how they figured out what the hangar decks colors are supposed to be. But anyway, if you can do that, I'll appreciate it. If you know of anybody that's built this kit, I'd love to be able to see what they've done. Anyway, let's get quickly over to the unboxing, so I'll be back now. Well guys, here's the box. As you can see, it's a pretty big box. My tripod is on maximum height and it doesn't quite fit. It's not quite a 1:200 scale big, but 1:350 scale is still pretty massive. I'm just going to zoom in quickly there in the top. If that will focus, come on. Oh no, she doesn't want to focus. Okay, there we go. There you can see the length will be 720.3 millimeters. And the width is 101 millimeters, so not quite as big as the Enterprise CVN 65, the nuclear powered carrier. Slightly shorter, but still one massive ship. As you can see, the artwork is pretty nice. The aircraft on the deck, beautiful looking ship. Okay, let's quickly get this top off. Just want to show up there, that is the company that makes this model. I know there are some people, there we go. There are some people that are selling this particular kit on eBay. So if you want to take a look at eBay or Amazon, you can go find it. I know on eBay you put in the USS Enterprise CV6 and it says there's no result found, but it finds it. Okay, so let's get started with the instructions. It gives you very nice call outs on how to put the ship together. I'm just going to flip through this. Very detailed, shows you nicely where all the photo edge has to go and everything. All nicely done, but there's the flight decks, all the parts that's got to go there, but it doesn't anywhere over here show you that this deck here must be painted light blue, pink, orange, navy blue. It just doesn't say nothing. So it's a bit of a problem, and I'll show you now why. Aussie Trekkie also moaned about this. What color do you paint these decks? It doesn't show you anyway. Not at all. Now it gives you a very nice call out on how to paint the flight deck, the sides of the ship. All of that's nicely done, but nowhere does it actually tell you what you must paint the actual flight deck or any of this detail underneath here or here, because you can't see it from that angle. It would have been nice if they could have just put all that at the back there, but they don't show nothing. So anyway, that's that. It does, one nice thing is it does give you your Mr. Hobby, blah blah blah, Tamiya, all the different paints there. Tells you what it is, and if it doesn't make it, like this particular one, they don't have there. There's a couple of others in Tamiya which they don't give you, but otherwise they give you everything nicely over there. Then of course you get lots of photo edge parts over there, basically the same on both sides there, and there you go, drop one. Try to get that nicely there. There you can see a lot of railings and stuff on this one, ladders and stuff. That side, all sorts of railings, and this one is just more railings and wheels and stuff. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different photo edge kits, which I think will do a nice job on the ship. Then you come to all of these parts. There are quite a few screws in this. I'm not going to take them out of their plastic until I need to. Then once it's opened, I'll put it all back into the plastic to keep it protected. Very nice. The molds look very well done. There's not any flash that I can make out, so they're all done very neatly and very cleanly. For an unknown company that's been around longer than I know, they've done very good jobs on this. So they're not a company that I know. I'm not sure how long they've been around. I know Aussie Trekkie put his video up on the Ark Royal about 2 years ago. So the company is 2, maybe 3, 4 years old. I'm not sure. If anybody knows how old the company is and when they were established, you can just let me know in the comments. That's that side. Let me just put all of this back. I can't see, there's still some stuff I've got to get at the bottom. This is a separate box. I'm not going to show everything in it because they're all very similar. So I'm just going to show one. There's Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each pack. These are the aeroplanes, all in clear plastic. There's 5 aircrafts per bag, and there's 1, 2, 3 bags, so there's about 15 aeroplanes, which is a little bit on the low side. It would have been nice if I could get more, but I will find out at the model shop on Saturday when we go through if I can get more. There is the base, and that is a little part with what looks like a lifeboat, or part of a lifeboat. And there's another packet with 2 sprues in it. Another packet basically similar. Nice packet there, those 2 pieces just broke off. And then the second final bag, it's got the props on. And then finally a part of the island. So guys, that's that. Just quickly want to get this out. There is the decal sheet. There you can see there's some flags there which I can use. In the next video I'll show you how I did that with the tin foil. So that is that. Get this back down there. Quickly pop this stuff back. And then we'll get to the most important part of the model, the actual hull. Yeah, some more parts here. There is the decks. And there I go, drop this thing. Okay, so those are the decks. The hull is in one piece. Very nicely molded. You can see all the hull plating. Lots of windows. I think on one video somebody said that these little holes were pop rivets. They would have to be very, very big pop rivets to be that size. Okay, so the only thing I have to do here is a little bit of seam work along the edge. I don't think the ship was quite that and there goes the camera, sorry about that. Just got to see exactly how much work I got to do on this, because I don't think it was quite so pointy. And then a bit of a seam line down here which I've got to fix. But otherwise, a very, very nice mold. No flash or anything on it. Very crisp, very clean, very nice lines. Absolutely beautiful. So that's it, guys. When I come back, we'll start doing a bit of work on the actual hull itself, getting the molding lines, which is a little bit on the bottom here, get that all nice and smooth, and start building the ship. Okay guys, I'll be back later. See you now. Well guys, I'm back with the hull. I haven't looked yet at the back of the ship, but what I want to now do is this seam along the bottom. As you can, I don't know how nicely you can see that part there. I just want to get that right, sand it away. Unfortunately at the moment I haven't been able to make another light for this area to try and get this area some more light, and I'd like to get a new camera, but unfortunately I can't afford a new camera, so this is the best I can do. So I just want to apologize to everybody who left comments about the light. I would love to be able to improve the light here, but I really earn a crappy salary, so right now I just can't afford it. Anyway guys, I'm now going to quickly try sand this line out. I'm using 600 is it 6? I think this is 6,000 grit sandpaper, or it should be 600. I think this is 600. 600 grit sandpaper. Just sand all of this out, get that all nice and smooth. Now the way I'm going to build this is I'm going to build the bottom part completely finished, painted, get all this done, and then right at the end I'll start with the flight deck. So this whole ship will be, at the bottom part will be on the stand, everything done before I start doing any of the top parts. The downside with sandpaper is after you sand it a little bit, you got a lot of grit and gunk which you got to clean off. That blocks up your sandpaper. If you actually think of it, a lot of people, you just won't bother doing this bottom part, because once the ship is sitting like that on its stand you won't see the bottom, but you know it's not done properly, so spend that extra little bit of time getting the bottom nice and smooth, all down to the person who's building it. So if a person doesn't want to sand this line off, because you're not going to see it anyway most of the time, more than likely you won't really see it unless you look from the bottom of the ship and try to look up at it, you more than likely will never see it, but sanding it off, getting it all nice and smooth, just makes it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, I'm just quickly going to get a sanding stick. another thing you can use, of course, is these sticks which the women use for filing their nails. Nice and flat. Well, this part is most probably one of the longest things you can do on a ship or any model, is getting rid of seam lines. It's also most probably the most boring part of doing a build, is the sanding. Every person's got their own part which they like the most. Me, I like the painting and putting on the details, because when you paint something like a Defiant, oops, sorry about the camera, and you put all those nice different shades of colors on top of each other, blues and reds and oranges, all different patterns on the ship, when you finished, it just looks so awesome. And you know, wow, I did that. That's the part that I like the most. Saying, wow, look at what I just did. Painting a ship can also be quite a pain, especially when you accidentally do a little bit too much and it starts to run. The hull's coming out pretty good so far. Because once you give it a coat of primer, then you'll be able to see if there's any other places which you need to sand. So far this is coming out pretty good. To touch that doesn't feel like a hole. Sorry about the freaking camera again. Right over here there's a bit of a mark, but it doesn't feel like a hole. So it looks like it's coming on pretty good. I'm now just busy on the nose of the ship. Okay. The front of the ship is quite sharp here on the bow. I must just go check and see if this is right, or if it must be more round. And if it is, then I can just sand that a little bit flatter and try and get it looking more round and not sharp. I doubt it if it's supposed to be sharp. The back of the ship, I just want to check as well and see if I can see something. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Seam line's pretty much gone as far as I can see. Now I'm just going to take a bit of 1500 grit fine sandpaper, get a little piece off, and just go over everywhere we are sanded. Just with a bit of a light sanding. Let me just zoom out a bit. Just go over like that with a bit of a light sanding. And all I'm trying to do is make any rough scuff marks from the rougher sandpaper go away, so the primer doesn't have to flatten it as much. The gaps it has to fill up, if there's any, will be less and smoother. You can't always get it perfectly smooth, but if you can get the grooves as fine as possible, you can get the primer to fill it up and act as a bit of a filler. Anyway guys, there we go. That's that so far. Looking pretty good. Okay guys, when I come back we will be flipping the ship over and we'll be starting to sort out what's going to happen on the inside of the ship. I want to put LEDs in here, and there's a lot of windows, so I want to light that up like I did with my other Enterprise, the nuclear powered Enterprise, the CVN I think it is called 65. I want to light this one as well as open up the hangar deck so you can see some planes on the inside. What I did see was on the Enterprise, they actually, on the hangar deck, they actually hung planes off the top of the hangar deck so they could work underneath it, which looks quite interesting. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. When I come back, we will be starting with the inside of the ship and seeing if I need to do light blocking, and then of course drilling out all the little holes, all the portholes. There's quite a few along the edge here, and hopefully soon I'll be able to put up some extra lighting to really brighten this area up. Okay guys, that's it for now. I'll be back now. Okay guys, hope the light's good enough over here. What I'm using to drill these windows out is 0.7mm drill bits. I don't have a proper pin vise, so this is just a normal X-Acto knife handle. Put your drill bit in, get it as straight as possible, and it works just fine. I'm not going to do much because there is a lot of windows to drill, and as you can see the camera's just gone out of focus again. I'm going to drill a couple of holes over here, and then the rest of them I'll do off camera, because this is already molded with indentations. All I have to do is get my drill bit in and it won't slip. And there goes the freaking camera again. Wrong direction. And there I go, drop everything. Yeah. Okay, there's the first hole I want to drill. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom and 1 here up on the top. Because it's indented, it makes it so the drill bit doesn't move. Just want to put my eyes on so I can see better. Get it in, get it as straight as possible. Put a little bit of pressure and start drilling. Don't put too much pressure on because you don't want to break the drill bit. And just blow. I like to blow the stuff away every now and then. You can use a little Dremel tool or something to do it. It will go a lot faster, but it also generates heat, and when you pick up the speed, if it's not sitting nicely, it can shoot off and leave a nice nasty scratch. So I'm not too fond of doing it that way. I prefer to do all my holes by hand, slow and easy. Also, if you push too much pressure on and it shoots through the plastic fast, the chuck can also leave a nasty mark on the plastic if you go through and it shoots down. And see basically what happened there now, where it comes through and the drill bit goes and shoots. Because it's moving so fast, it can leave a mark, but the way you do your holes, how you drill them out, is up to the person that's drilling them. Using something that's got a motor makes it go a lot faster, but there's also other risks in which you've got by doing it that way. As I say, the drilling can heat up the plastic, it can run on you. When you start drilling, it can go off to the side. So there's a lot of different things that can happen everybody's got their own preference on how to do something. This is how I prefer to do it. I'm not saying there is a right and a wrong way. I'm just saying when you do drill, be careful when you're drilling that you don't accidentally mess up what you're busy with. And if you go on eBay, you can find these drill bits. They were very cheap. Worth getting these ones. I've got the 0.7 millimeters and I've also got the 0.5 millimeters. Really worth getting to do your models. As I say, on this particular model, the windows are all 0.7 millimeters in diameter. Now the way I've learned how to judge a hole is you take the hole which you need, you take the back end, the piece that goes into the drilling machine. Stupid damn camera. Sorry about that. You take your, not the tip that you drill with. I just quickly want to adjust my panel. Don't take this part here. You take the back end, the run side, and then you put it in to your hole, and if that fills your hole up, then you know when you drill with this piece it will be the right diameter. That's how I learned when I was at school how to just what type of drill bit you'll need. Anyway guys, this is the last hole I'm going to drill. And there we go guys, you can't see the holes very nicely like that, so I'm quickly going to get my phone out of my pocket. It's got a nice little LED in it. And let me get that out of the way, and there you can see the windows which I've just drilled. Anyway guys, that's it for now. Okay guys, I just got a nice little message on my phone. Let me quickly take a look at it. It was from All Wood Modeler Mayhem, and he just said thanks a lot Travis from the message I left him on his beautiful ship which he just put up a little while ago. You must definitely go look at his videos. Anyway guys, when I come back I'll have all the windows drilled, and then I will start checking how thick the plastic is, if I need to light block it or not. If the light doesn't penetrate the plastic and I don't need to light block it, then I'm not going to bother with that. I might give it just a coat of white, but I'll first check and see how the light does once I put the deck in place. Anyway guys, that's for another time. Be back now once I've done all the windows. Be back now. Okay guys, I'm finished drilling all the holes. I'm going to need some light in order to show you nicely. There we go. what happened there. I didn't press that. Cell phones. Anyway, guys. Yeah, it's a little bit bright on camera. Those second row of these lights, windows over here. Not very nice way to show. But those down there are a little bit crooked. I made a mess up. On this side they came out better, more in a row. So I don't know if that's a little bit too bright. There you can see that one row of, bottom row of windows, portholes came out a bit crappy. So what I must do now is just take some of my putty and fill it. So I'm going to use some Tamiya putty and just a toothpick and try fill each and every hole. And then re-drill him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pencil. Let me quickly bend it down a bit. And now hopefully this camera finally stay focused. Oh, come on. I'm going to take a pencil and then just underneath each window or porthole, just going to draw a little mark like that, and there, and there. As you can see, like I've done there. Now what that will do is once these holes are all filled, then I can just take my drill bit, work out exactly where the hole's got to be and drill it. I've just got to make a nice line there to try and get that all even, and then drill each hole out again. Anyway guys, that's how far I am on the aircraft carrier's portholes on the hull itself. That's all going to be what this video is going to be. I'll show you what the holes, the portholes look like once I'm finished. Just one other thing, when I started doing the model I was using 0.7mm. I realized afterwards it looked a little bit too small. I think I looked nicely with my magnifying glass and I realized it was a little bit small. So I've redone all the windows again, which I did with the 0.7. I redid with the 1mm, which was more the correct size. Such a small difference that you can't really make it out when you're looking at it. But anyway, I've managed to notice that the 0.7 was a bit too small, so I started using a 1mm. Anyway guys, that's it for now. I've decided how I'm going to do the diorama, so that's why I'm finishing this video now. I was going to do it a little bit longer, but I'm finishing this video now. Once I filled those holes up, I'm going to put this model aside and then I'm going back to the diorama. Anyway guys, see you in the next video when we do the diorama, the water effects, and get that all done. The stuff I wanted to use was a little bit expensive and I think I'd have to use a lot of it, so that's why I've decided I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go a different route. But anyway guys, that's for a different video. Live long and prosperous and happy modeling. Cheers.